Hi friends, I thought today we would do a science experiment. Do you want to be a scientist today? You are a scientist every day whenever you're asking questions or whenever you find something and you are looking at it carefully and try to think of what's going on. If you find a plant, you try to see how it grows. So you're a scientist every day. Let's see if things will sink, go down to the bottom of the bowl, or will float, stay up on the surface. Are you ready? Let's go. So a scientist makes predictions or guesses. Those are called, that's another word for that is hypothesis. So a scientist likes to make hypotheses. Can you say that word with me? Hypothesis. That's a smart word and it's a hard word. So let's see. What's your hypothesis about this rock? Will this rock sink, go all the way down to the bottom of the bowl, or will it stay up on the surface? Let's see if you're right. My hypothesis is that this rock is going to go to the bottom because it feels so heavy. Let's see if I'm right. Ready? Whoa, it went all the way down to the bottom. So the rock sinks, right? It sunk. So afterwards I'll put them on the sink page. Let's see, how about this block? It's a blue wooden block. Do you think it will float or sink? My hypothesis is that, or my guess is that this block will go down to the bottom. It's not as heavy as the rock, but it is kind of big, so let's see if I'm right. If my hypothesis is correct. Let's see. Oops, it doesn't go to the bottom. It's floating. So the wooden block doesn't sink. Let's see what else. I have a fork, and this fork is from metal or aluminum. Let's see if the fork will float or sink. What do you think? You think it will sink? Let's see if you're right. Let's see if your hypothesis is right. Whoa, it went all the way down next to the rock. Do you see it? I'm gonna take this wooden block so you can see better. Now, how about a plastic fork? Do you think that it will go down to the bottom or stay up on the surface? Do you think it will sink or float? What's your hypothesis? My hypothesis is that will go down to the bottom just like the other fork. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, it went down. Not as fast as the other fork, but it went down. I was right. My hypothesis was right. Now let's see what will happen to a penny. Look, a little penny is also metal, kind of like the fork. Do you think it will go down like the fork or it will float? Let's see if you're right, if your hypothesis is right. Let's see. Yes, it went all the way down. Now, let's see what will happen to this wooden clip or clothespin. What's your hypothesis? Is it that will stay up like the block? Remember the block didn't really sink? Let's see if you're right. But you see the wooden peg has also some metal on it. So I don't know. Let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, it's floating. It's floating, it's not sinking. So you were right. Just like the wooden block, the clothespin is floating. So I guess wood floats. Let's see what happens to this crayon. What's your hypothesis? Will it sink or will it float? I predict, or my hypothesis is that it will float. Let's see if I'm right. No, it sank. It went all the way down next to the rock. Oh man, I was wrong. Now, what do you think of this one, the paper? Do you think paper will float or sink? My hypothesis is that it will float. Let's see if I'm right. Let me take the other stuff out. Look, it's floating. The paper floats. So maybe you can make a paper boat. That'll float until maybe it fills up with water. I don't know. Now, do you know why some things float and some things don't sink? It's because of what they are made out of. You know, everything around us, almost everything, is made out of molecules. That's another smart, hard word that you're learning today. Can you say molecules? And molecules are very, very tiny little things. You can't even see it with your eyes. You have to use a very powerful microscope to see those molecules. So you can find the molecules inside a block, inside a penny, inside everything. Even water has molecules. So when the molecules inside the block are spread out, they're not very close to each other, things will float. But when the molecules are very, very close to each other, they will sink, go all the way at the bottom. So inside the block, if this is the block, look, I drew a block here. This is the block. The molecules inside are spread out. One here, wait, my marker is not working. One here, they are spread out. So the tiny little molecules that we can't see are spread out like this. But inside the penny, they are dense. That means very close to each other. They are very close to each other, and that makes the penny sink to the bottom. So it's because of the molecules are dense. Can you say dense? They are very close to each other, but in the block, they are spread out. They're not dense, not as dense. Dense is how close to each other they are. Another word is density. So you've learned 3 smart words today: hypothesis, molecules, and density. Aren't you smart? Great job, friends. If you try this at home, show me a picture or a video so I can see it. Bye, friends.